I'm back. I said that I was going to be better with my YouTube like I did last year, and I haven't been. So here we are, we're back, and I'm forcing myself to post this. But we are doing the mid-year book tag. This is created by Larry Reads herself, our queen. And I figured it was no better time than this time to get myself back on YouTube and get better with posting by doing a book tag. So do yourself a favor, get yourself a snack, get yourself a drink, get yourself ready for this one, because I have opinions that need to be shared, and some of them you're probably gonna hate. So I have a fresh Coke. It is still fizzy, which I don't like. I don't like fizzy drink really, but I like the taste of Coke. Have a fresh Coke, grab yourself a drink, and sit down because we're going to talk some books. Okay, I have my spare phone here, and I have the questions listed out, and I've got the book's correlation in front of me. Some of these books I don't have a physical copy of, but I will put a little picture of that book in there. Okay, we're starting off strong. The best book that I've read so far in 2026. I feel like I am so late to the game with this series, but it's because it seemed so daunting when I first started reading, because I wasn't reading very fast, but now I'm smashing through books. So it didn't seem as daunting when I picked her up, and my friend has been begging me to read it. I finally have read Binding 13, and do you know what? I was missing out. I really was, and I will admit it, and I will happily admit it, because this is the best book I've read this year by a country mile. I devoured this book. The emotional side of things and the feel-good side of things about like having a first crush and developing feelings for somebody and like all of these things, it felt so almost nostalgic and like coming of age, and I really, really enjoyed it. This has, pardon me, this has no spice at all. There's like, I think there's like one kissing scene, but I loved it nonetheless. I think Chloe Walsh has done such a phenomenal job with this book, and I'm so excited to read the second one in the series. I am not getting to it for a really long time because I'm in the middle of filming a different YouTube video with different books, but I'm very excited to keep reading this book, because this series, because it did end on a cliffhanger, and I'm heartbroken about the fact that it ended on a cliffhanger, because I can't do that, because then I just want to like sit and read forever. But yes, this is my best read of 2026. This one is taking the cake so far. Is it going to change? I'm not sure. We're gonna have to wait and play along by the end of the year and see if this one takes the cake for the whole year, or if it's just a mid-year kind of project. Next question. The worst book you've read so far in 2026, and I'm so disappointed to say this, because I really tried. I really tried to read this book, and I really tried to get through it. And reading this felt like scratching my nails on a chalkboard. And I have long nails, so it's not a nice feeling. The worst book I've read this year is Yesteryear by, I'm going to pronounce their name wrong, Claire Burke. Because what the fuck was this? Literally, what the fuck was this? I hated this. I got like not even that far in, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I have no idea what the go is. I don't know how it finishes. It was actually a book club pick for my work book club that we have. And I tried really, really hard, because all of my co-workers know that I'm an author. And so I wanted to be like, put my best foot forward and be like, yep, I really critically analysed this book. I really enjoyed it, but I couldn't. And we have our meeting in 2 weeks, and I feel so bad that I'm going to be like, I fucking hated it. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. So yeah, this is my worst read book of the year so far. And I don't think there's going to be anything else that takes this, because I fucking hated this. Okay, next question. The best sequel you read in 2026. Again, another series that I'm like semi-late to the game on, but nonetheless, I did enjoy it. I read the Gods of the Games series by Anna Huang, which is still coming out with its final book in the series. But this sequel, chef's kiss. I devoured this. I read this in like 2 days and I was obsessed. Like you couldn't have pulled this book from my cold dead hands. I loved it so much. The amount of tabs that are in this, the nostalgia, and it was kind of relatable because my fiance is a soccer player. He's a defender. He's not professional by any stretch of the imagination, and that's okay because we're okay with that information. I like that I get to see him all year round. But this, immaculate. The best sequel I've read this year. Beyond my expectations, anything that I could have expected in this book series, and I adored it so much. Anna Huang has this really beautiful way of putting like a little bit of a dark romance spin on something without really trying, and this is not a dark romance at all. It's not marketed as a dark romance, but there is an aspect of it that is quite dark. Nothing like the dark romance side of things is not between the main characters. There's just a situation that's quite dark, and it's this couple kind of navigating how to kind of get around this situation. But so far, this is my best sequel read of the year, and I absolutely adored it. I loved the characters, I loved Vincent, and Brooklyn was just like, I loved her. She was just kind of like fun, and she was like kind of held her own and didn't kind of stand down, proved her worth. I loved it. Loved this book. The next question is the worst sequel you've read in 2026. I have not read a really, really bad sequel because I actually haven't read a lot of books series in like succession. So I'm going to kind of spin this question a little bit just because I needed to answer it, but I didn't have one. So I'm changing this to the worst prequel I've ever read. And guys, let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. All right. Let me tell you something.
When I promise you that I've tried so hard to like this author's writing, I really, really have, because I've heard the amazing things that happen later in their books, in the series that they've released, but I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm trying one more time with a different series of hers. I'm really trying. This is the worst prequel I've ever read. Or like novella, or like whatever this is. Has a piece of fluff on it. I was so bored. I was really bored. I couldn't do it. I really tried. Like, I was doing this while I was at work, bored out of my mind. This is at a previous job, but bored out of my mind. And this was more boring than the thing that was boring me. So I tried it. I tried Sarah J. Maas again. I've read ACOTAR and I did not finish the series. I tried to start Throne of Glass because everyone is like, nope, this is her best work, this is her best work, this is her best work. I couldn't do it. So I have the whole series. So I'm going to really try because I really want to give her a chance. And my fiance's actually picked A House of Earth and Blood as one of my TBRs for July. So I'm going to try her again. And maybe I just wasn't in the right headspace to read it. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and I'm going to try and read again. Okay, next question. A new release that you haven't read yet, but you really want to. Now, this one is also kind of cheating because I have read a lot of new releases this year in the disgusting reading slump that I've been in this whole year because I've been too busy writing my own book and editing my own book. That being said, though, I have listened to the audiobook of it, but it was while I was doing things and I was distracted, so I don't actually know the whole story. So I have picked it up because I do want to kind of sit down and actually read it. It is Pucking Strong by Emily Rath. Those of you who have been around since I started my TikTok, my YouTube, everything, know that this book series is what changed the game for me. I read Pucking Around when I first started reading again after high school and university, and Pucking Around had me hooked into reading so much that I was reading like multiple books every couple of weeks. So this series is forever a god tier series for me. Every book that I've read of this so far this year has been a 5-star read, and I really hope that this is not going to be any different. And I'm so excited because I've loved Teddy's little cameos in the first book, and I love Henrik as well in like his little sections of the book. So I'm really, really excited. And I also know that this ends up being a romance where he like one of the players, Henrik, gets his niece, and like his niece is in his custody due to like an accident. So I'm really, really excited to see how she's written that and the dynamics of that, because like I said, I listened to it, but I wasn't really listening to it because I was so distracted. So I'm really, really excited to actually sit down and read this, because I do love a little romance, a little hockey romance where everything works out for two guys. So cute. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to read this one. My most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Now, I'm so sorry for the unbelievable amount of plug that I'm about to give this author, because it's all deserved, really, in my opinion. The most anticipated release of my second half of the year is Altan Academy by K.S. Eliot. It is a murder mystery, like college setting or like academy setting. It is, from what I can gather, I don't know a lot about it, but from what I can gather from the vibes and stuff that she's posting, it's very academia. There is a murder mystery. She kind of went to this academy because her brother was murdered, or her brother passed away, or something along those lines. Okay, voiceover Ken's coming in really, really quickly. I was very, very wrong. Her brother was not murdered. Somebody was murdered, but it wasn't her brother. She followed her brother to this academy because it's all she's ever wanted to be in this academy, to be like a strong card wielder. I was completely wrong. I'm so sorry that I very, very wrongly described this, but I'm here to fix it. She did not have to find her brother's murderer. Somebody was murdered, but it wasn't her brother. So I love like an academy setting in books. I just think it's so cool to see what people do with an academy setting. So I'm so excited for this release. It's coming out in October. When I tell you that I'm going to be the most insufferable person when this book comes out and when I know what the cover looks like, oh, just you wait. Just you wait. Okay, on to the next question. The biggest surprise of this year. And I say this in a bad way, which breaks my heart. I love Stephanie Garber's writing. I love the way it's very whimsical and very like fun, and there's always something going on. You never know what's going to happen on the next page turn, blah, yada, yada. Anyway, I read Stephanie Garber's newest release, Alchemy of Secrets, and I was confused the whole time. And this surprised me the most because I've never, ever, ever disliked a Stephanie Garber book. I've loved everything that I've read by her, and I didn't dislike this per se. I just like was so confused that I couldn't fully immerse myself into the storyline, and I think that's what kind of detrimented it for me, is because when you kind of find out the answer at the end, you're like, oh, is that it? So this makes me really, really sad, and it really, really shocked me that I didn't enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed her other books. So yeah, this was my biggest surprise of the year, that I did not rate this as high as the rest of her book series. Okay, next question. Favorite new author, debut, or new to you? Now, this author is, I would say, still in her debut era, but she has released 3 books and she's got a fourth one coming out later this year. But she's still relatively new, but that is not anything to say that she is not pumping these books out. And she's a favorite of mine. I love her writing, and I love how kind of, it's not like critical, but it makes you think, her writing, and that is, again, K.S. Eliot. She's an Australian author as well, so that gives me a little extra soft spot in my heart, because I do love an Australian author. And please disregard the state of this book. I tried really hard to look after it, but for whatever reason, the pages curled up. Anyway, this is Curse of the Seven, her young adult fantasy book series. It's a duology. It's the redemption of Omnia duology, and this is the first one in the series, and I loved this. I absolutely loved this. And just kind of getting to know this storyline in anticipation for the second book in this series was such a fun time. I loved it, and kind of I think that's what I like about fantasy, is you get to learn about this whole new world, and K.S. Eliot has done such a phenomenal job of creating this world that you think about for years after. So this was released last year, and I read it basically straight away. I think it was released and I maybe picked it up like a month after, if that, and absolutely loved it. And then was like waiting on pins and needles for the second book in this series to come out. And can I just say it was worth the wait? So yes, K.S. Eliot is my new favourite author. I'm so excited for her newest release in October. She does have a poetry book as well, which I'm really, really excited to get my hands on and have a read. I just haven't had a chance to order it. But yes, K.S. Eliot, if you haven't checked her out, check her out because she's amazing. She's got such an amazing social media page as well. She does such a good job at marketing her books in a way that makes it fun. So definitely check her out. Would recommend picking this one up for yourself or young adult. It's definitely a book to have in your bookshelf. Fictional Crush. This is another book series that I'm a little bit late to the game on. I actually was lucky enough to receive an ARC copy of her first book when she released it. The author is Skylar Summers. She's written the Playing Favourites series. And the first 2 books are between Ali and Dan. And they're like a stepbrother and sister situation. Absolutely loved it. No fault of my seeing. I loved it so much. It was great. And I finally got a chance to get around to reading the next 2 books in the series, which is My Favourite Secret and My Favourite Sinners. I'm in the middle of My Favourite Sinners right now. And can I just say, never did I say that I was going to be down bad for a blonde man in a book. But I'm down bad for a blonde man in a book. I love Felix so much. He's a little bit broody, he's a little bit wounded, he's a little bit tortured, and I'm obsessed with him so much. So I think about him daily, and it probably doesn't help that I read about him daily because I'm in the middle of the last book that she's released so far. So yes, definitely give My Favourite Sinners and My Favourite Secret, or the whole Playing with Favourites series a go because it is really, really good. And Felix Blackwood, I love him. Okay. Next book. This is, gosh, I've really talked about every single one of her books. So the next question is book that made me cry. This book, when I tell you, I was sobbing uncontrollably. I messaged K.S. Eliot and I said, girl, what the hell? I was inconsolable when I finished this book, and I had to go back and reread it again and again to convince myself that that was actually what happened. Because I was like, no, this is a lie, this isn't true, this isn't real. Oh my god, for such a young adult book, for such a fantasy realm book, and it being a young adult in that genre, the emotional pull that this book had on me, I still think about this to this day. I'm getting teary just thinking about it now. The ending of this book, it really made you sit back and think and be like, I know that that's exactly how I would feel if this happened to me. And it was unbelievably sad. Did it finish amazingly? Yes. Am I still thinking about the really sad part? Absolutely. Every day of my life since reading that book, I've been sad about it. Me and my book bestie, Taz, had both read the book basically at the same time, and I messaged her sobbing and she messaged me sobbing, and there is a quote that is said between the 2 characters that this situation happened with, and we're actually getting that tattooed on us because of how gut-wrenching it was. Next, a book that made me happy. So we are back to talking about the Gods of the Game series by Anna Huang. I loved this book. I love a ballet dancer, I really do, and I think this book made me so happy because of the nostalgia I got around ballet. As sad as it is that Scarlett is an injured dancer, the way that he describes her love for dance made me feel so nostalgic because I used to be that girl. I used to love dance so much, and so there were so many aspects of this book that just made me smile till it hurt, that it was not even manageable. I loved this book so much, and I love Anna Huang's writing. She's an author for me, like I've said 100 times. If you have not read the Gods of the Game series, please give it a chance because it is so good. And I'm so excited for The Keeper to come out because I know it's gonna be good. And he's, from what I can gather, The Keeper is a little bit of an awkward guy, so I'm excited to see kind of his redemption arc. Okay, second last question. The most beautiful book I've bought The most beautiful book I've bought so far this year. This one, I didn't technically buy it. my fiance bought it for me, but that was because I was insufferable when we were in the bookstore about it. I was very lucky. There was one of these books on the shelf at my local bookstore, one. And I've never seen it anywhere else. I'd never even heard about it. It is the book Beautiful Things by Emily Rath. It is a Regency Why Choose romance, and I'm so excited to read this. This is one of the books that my boyfriend, he's been promoted, my fiance, picked for my July TBR. So I'm so excited to read this and read something a little bit different to hockey romance from Emily Rath. I know that she has another paranormal romance coming out, and I'm excited to give that a go as well. But this is so beautiful. So even the cover on its own, stunning. The spine, stunning. The back, stunning. But can we talk about the sprayed edges? Are you kidding? Stunning. I've never seen a sprayed edge so beautiful in my life. And we walked in the day, I'm not kidding you, the day after my birthday, because I was working on my birthday. The day after my birthday, and went into bookstores. That was my birthday present from him, is I got to go to every single bookstore in Ballarat and pick a book. And we walked in here and that was sitting on the special editions table and it was the only one there, and I said, I want that one. And he said, are you sure? And I said, abso-fucking-lutely I am. I'm so excited to read this. And the inside pages, stunning, delicious. I'm so excited. And even this page, beautiful. So yes, this is the most beautiful book that I've ever even seen in my life. So I'm so excited to read this, and I will give you updates as soon as I finish it. And then finally, the last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And y'all are going to be so mad at me because every single one of these books is books that I'm so late to the game on. Okay, I have 3. And you're going to scream at every one of them. The first one is The Sweet Secret by Tierney Page. I read The Other Brother and absolutely devoured it, loved every second of it. Have I started this? No. Do I want to? Yes. Do I have time? I'm going to make time because I really want to read this. I'm so excited. I loved The Other Brother so much. It was a 5-star read for me, and I just love Tierney in herself. So I'm so excited to read this one so then I can read The Player's Promise because I do like an Irish boy. So yes, very, very excited for the second book in the London Hearts series. My friend and I are probably going to do a buddy read of it because she just got this one as well. So we're both very late to the game, but this is one of the ones that I need to read by the end of the year. The next one, another one that I'm really late to the game on, and book bestie Taz has been screaming at me. But I got them for my birthday, so I'm reading the Legacy of God series by Rina Kent. I know that the first chapter of this book has been changed. She did tell me what first happened, but I'm still going to read it nonetheless. I'm excited to read it. I do like a dark romance. Dark romance to me is like a palate cleanser. You know, I'll read so many fluffy romance that I'm like, all right, I need some carnage. And this, I know is going to be what this is because I've read so many hockey romance, sports romances lately that I know that this is going to be a nice palate cleanser for me. So I'm so excited to read this. I am doing a reading vlog of this whole series, so keep your eye out for that one when I upload it. I'm very, very excited to kind of give you all my opinions. It is going to be a spoiler vlog, so if you haven't read this series, please don't watch that video until after you've read it, because if you don't want to get spoiled, don't watch it. And finally, I need to give this one another chance. I did start it and I was bored. I was simply bored. But I'm going to give it another chance because I've heard that it's amazing and I really want to read the second one because apparently that's even better. Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. First of all, love him. He's cutie. Love the swords. Love the fun. But yeah, I'm excited to read this. I do have the special edition of this because I was gifted it. And then I was also gifted this one because I asked for both of them for Christmas, hoping somebody would just buy one of them for me, but I ended up with both. So yes, I have Quicksilver and I am going to read it. I'm really going to try and read it, but no promises there. But that brings us to the end of the mid-year book tag. I promised I would be better at posting on YouTube, and here I am trying not to be embarrassed about it. Oh, actually, I have 2 most anticipated releases. Fun fact, I read a book. This is actually one of my most anticipated releases alongside with Old Town Academy. Really funny story, actually. K.S. Eliot is my editor. So I'm so lucky to have the special KS Elias source in this book series as well, because she has edited my book and I'm so excited. This is releasing in September of 2026, so just before KS Eliot's next release is coming out, and I'm so excited. Pre-orders are open and available now. I will put the links in places that you can find them. And yeah, so this is my hockey romance between Ivy Talk and Leica Stone. Ivy is a neurodivergent FMC who is a law student by day and a stripper by night. Leica is a NHL pro hockey player who has just been signed to a brand new team in Miami. And the things that these two get up to, you'll be clutching your pearls. So yes, if you want to pre-order my book, there is a signed option or a non-signed option. I will aim to do some signings and giveaways and things like that. But yeah, definitely, if this sounds like up your alley, definitely pop the pre-order through, and I'm so excited for this to be released. So yes, my next most anticipated release of the year is my own. Okay, that brings us to the end of the tag. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are my opinions wrong? Do you think they're wrong? Do you have any further opinions on my opinions? Are we in agreement? Give me all your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think of these books, and let me know what's your most anticipated release of next year. What's your book TBR for the rest of the year? What are you looking forward to in the book world this year?